Mm, terrific. Hey, welcome everybody to How to Partner with Field Team 6. Delighted that that we have you here. By the way, this whole idea of streamlining the partnership process was the brainchild of Kala Maxim, who is on this call right now. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to our amazing COO, Dale, for doing just the mountains and mountains of work to make this whole system possible. And to our master hairball detangler, Wayne Liebman, who also worked about 3 months in the last month on this to make it happen. All right, so this is going to be short and sweet, and we're going to go over all the ways that Field Team 6 can partner with your organization and be of service. So here we go. Want to help register Democrats and save the world? You've come to the right place. Our goal, let me first say, hang on one second. There we go. Our goals for the 2022 midterms are to save the Senate, save the House, and save the democracy. Registering Democrats in swing states and districts is the #1 most direct, effective way to do that. Your organization can partner with Field Team 6 in a whole variety of wonderful ways. And this presentation is going to cover both the free ways and the non-free ways. We'll answer all your questions at the end too. So, and you might have them along the way. So please write them down so you don't forget them, okay? So Field Team 6, in 2020, we helped register 785,000 Democratic voters, the vast majority in swing states. Last year, we brought that total to over 1.5 million. And by November of this year, we aim to add 1 million more to that. And who's going to do this important work? You are. We all are together. But we're only as strong as our network. We need all our partners. So yes, no pressure. The good news is, to outsmart the pandemic, Field Team 6 in 2020 acquired a priceless, one-of-a-kind database of unregistered likely Democrats in battleground states. Booyah! And we want to share it. That's right. Just to say that one more time, these are unregistered likely Democrats. They've been given a partisanship score based on gender, location, age, economic factors, and they've been deemed likely to be Democrats. We've found that targeting to be accurate. As of spring 2022, right now, the database has 12 million unregistered likely Democrats in it, the vast majority in swing states. And to put that in perspective, in 2020, just under 43,000 votes in Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia tipped the Electoral College to Biden.
Jason, don't forget to stop sharing periodically.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're just a little postage stamp yammering at us.
I'm a tiny little face. I will not forget. These are the 9 states that we focus on. You can see California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. But if you'd like to register Democrats in non-target states, we can help with that too. And if you need guidance, we can also direct you towards the most important swing states or towards the most important swing districts within those states or in non-target states. We try to register Democrats in the places that matter most, where we get the most bang for our Democrat. These 9 states we call triple word score states because the great majority of them are states where every Democrat you register can help us win a crucial Senate race, at least one House race, depending on where in the state, and for triple word score, a down ballot race as well, often a race for governor's mansion, as in Texas or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Georgia. Can you say Governor Abrams?
I can.
Ooh, say
Governor Abrams.
And now, can I take your order? So we're going to talk about how we do this in our 9 target states first, and I listed them in case you haven't memorized them yet. First, we'll talk about our free opportunities. So BYOP text banking, or stands for bring your own phone. This was our answer to the fact that the texting is expensive, and the question, how can we text anyway? How can we send lightning bolts through our magic database of these unregistered likely Democrats? How can we contact these people in the absence of funds to hold these paid text banks? This is the answer. So BYOP text banking is slower, clunkier than paid text banking. You're not, firing out hundreds of texts like you are in a paid text bank, but it's free and it gets the job done. We've sent over 42,000, something like that, texts so far, which is great. That all counts. These, by the way, just to clarify, these are all opportunities that we can set up. The digital opportunities, they're all things that we set up using our data in our database to contact these unregistered likely Democrats and get them registered. Phone banking. We use the industry standard manual dialer. So you use your computer and a phone and you make calls yourself. It's a tried and true method of registering Democrats and cleaning our data, both of which are very helpful. Social media storming. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Social media storming. Social media is a crucial platform for communicating, especially for reaching young people. This is something that we started doing 1 year ago. We celebrated our social storming birthday today. And the whole team who puts this together has brought it from a very small operation to something that generates over 50 million impressions a week. That, to put that in perspective, that's insane. When Levi's rolls out a new jean or something like that, a new product, if they hold a nationwide social media storm or Twitter storm and they get 2 or 3 million impressions, that's good. That's a national company like that. So over 50 million a week is amazing. What it is, every week we hold a social storming event, social storming party, where our amazing trainer, Deb Verla, can train anyone from scratch, whether you have an account on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or not. And we have these pre-made posts, and they're pithy, they're punchy, they're positive, pro-Democratic Party messaging, pro-Biden administration messaging, letting people know the good things that Democrats have achieved, pro-voter registration messaging, and other posts drive people to our voter registration events. So they're pre-made. It's a super easy platform. Once you get to know it, it's just a couple clicks to send something out. And it's something that once you've learned it, you can do this anytime on your own. You can keep on coming back to these parties, many people do, or just do it on your own. And partnering with us for social storming means that your volunteers can come to our social storm events and learn how to do this process with our pre-made posts. And they can customize them. Your organization can customize them however you like, add whatever hashtags you like, and send them out. Right now, we cannot create specific assets for your organization, just to be clear about that. Other free opportunities. In-person voter drives. So for this, we have something called Voter Drive in a Box. We're super proud of that. That is the culmination of 5 years of learnings about voter registration, all put on one page. So everything you need to lead your own voter drive is all on one page. To clarify, this is, since it's in person, we go to high traffic areas or hotspots, and this does not rely on data from our database. We just get out there, talk to everyone we can. We're an anti-table organization. We walk around with a clipboard and a smile and register everyone we can. I'm just going to show on my screen where you can find this. right on our front page of our website, fieldteam6.org. Just scroll down, voter drive in a box, everything you need to run your own voter drive. It's state specific, and you just click on your state, let's say Pennsylvania. Everything you need is on one page, including 2 videos. You can train by watching 2 videos and you'll know everything you need to know. Or you could go to a live training call. We have one every 3 weeks, or you could read the short and sweet manual. And then all the steps are here and you can check it out at your leisure. All right, now on to the non-free opportunities. These postcarding. So to clarify about the paid opportunities, we don't make money from these. We do our fundraising separately from organizing. We never want money to be a barrier between people and the work. But for these 2, postcarding and paid text banking, you need your organization needs to raise money so that we can do it. And we do this at the cheapest that we can possibly do this. For postcarding, the organization or volunteers themselves pay for the postcards and stamps. We provide the super easy to use website. We provide the data, of course, for these unregistered likely Democrats. And we provide a first draft of a script, which you can absolutely use as is, or you can tweak to be in the voice. You can change it as much as you like to be in the voice of your own organization, because you know the voters that you're sending these to. And final opportunity, non-free opportunity, paid text banks. These are super fast. Spoke Rewired is the platform we use. It is a $2,500 minimum to set this up. For $2,500, that will allow you to contact almost 45,000 eligible voters, which usually takes volunteers about 3 to 4 hours, maybe a little longer, but not much. And it's expensive, but it's a super effective, very satisfying way to reach out and get voters registered. Let's see, postcarding. I also wanted to mention, you can use your own postcards, of course, or you can use ours. We are very lucky to have 8 designs from Shepard Fairey. We have another famous artist, James McMullen, who has done covers for New Yorker magazine, I believe, and who has also given us designs. You can use so you can use either one. Ours come with a QR code on the back that takes the person you're sending it to directly to voterizer.org, which is our own custom built website for registering voters. All right. Here's the big difference. If you'd like to do any of these things in a non-target state, your organization would have to raise the money to buy the data for the districts that you would like to reach out to in those states. It's a $500 minimum. $500 pays for about 10,000 contacts. So it's a good amount of contacts if you're going to be postcarding or sending the free BYOP texts, anything like that. And that's the major difference. And sorry about that. That's Django. He's doing some voter outreach right now. So now that's basically it. There's 3 steps to partnering, and here they are. Oops. Step 1, you fill out partnering with Field Team 6. And we'll give you the link to that. You choose which program or programs your organization would like to partner on, whether that's postcarding, phone banking, text banking, all the things we just talked about. You'll get an email with an intake form for each program. So let's say you want to partner on postcarding and phone banking. You'd get 2 emails, and each one would have an intake form for that specific program. Step 2, have the person who will lead that program fill out the form. So have the person who would oversee postcards, fill out that form. Person who's overseeing phone banks, fill out that one. If it's you, then you can fill that out. Step 3, save the world. That's it. It really is easy to use for our partners. That was our entire goal. So I do want to mention before rushing to fill out the form, make sure you get buy-in from your volunteers. Make
Jason,
sure
if you'll just come back on screen for this.
absolutely. Hello again. Thank you. Yeah, like you, we are all about getting things done and making an impact. So make sure that your volunteers actually want to do these things before you sign up for these programs. And that's terrific. Then it's time to fill out that form. If you've already talked to your volunteers, you have a very good sense of what they're looking for, then you can start filling out the form right now. And we can drop that link in the chat right now. And have some questions and answers. Do need some questions though before I can answer.
All right, let's go with the raised hands because that's so polite. Margaret, if you can unmute yourself, you're first.
Hey, great. I'm so impressed with your website, by the way. I'm a website designer with McAfee, so I really love your site.
Oh, thank you.
Dale, do we have you to thanks for that as well?
Well, I work with a graphic designer who's very, very good, and so I can't take any credit at all, but yes.
Excellent job. And it's so easy, as I was clicking around on it just about half an hour before here, it's pretty easy to get around in. And so is this something like I'm doing a grassroots organization for Will Rollins and CA 41. We only have about 1,000 votes between him and Ken Calvert, who've been in for 30 years as a Republican who believes the big lie. And is just not a wonderful human being.
And who is known for being homophobic and whose district now includes Palm Springs.
What? This campaign runs itself.
Yeah, this is going to be fun and exciting. I've already got 130 grassroots volunteers that signed up on my Facebook site. So we are rocking and rolling. We're doing postcarding now. And right now we're doing it to the PDI data from, Dems that voted, et cetera. So your demographic of data is those that aren't declared either way. You're the NPP, whatever you want to call them now.
They're people who, first of all, oh my God, thank you for that amazing work. And CA 41 is one of our target districts. We absolutely got to get rid of Ken Calvert. Yeah. So our data is unregistered people. That's why it's a one-of-a-kind database. People don't have this kind of database. These are unregistered people who have been deemed likely Democrats.
Okay. Yeah, because we had a question mark in the volunteer group and said, okay, we're sending out these postcards to people who, have voted in the last 3 elections. And now we're going into the group that people who have voted, in the last 1 election. When can we get to the NPPs that are going to make a difference? So no party preference, folks. So cool. These are no party preferences. Cool. Awesome.
Well, these are not no party preference. These are non-voters. They've never been registered.
Oh, they've never been registered at all.
Never been registered. These are eligible voters. Right. So exactly. Thank you for clarifying that. So yes, our entire goal in reaching out to them is to say, hey, it's reaching out to make sure you're registered as a Democrat today. So you can get Representative Will Rollins elected in November, and because we are a proudly partisan organization, we're a 527 PAC, so we can be as partisan as we like. We can canvass as we register. So we can say that. We can, your volunteers can absolutely say Will's name, get that name recognition out there, and screen for Democrats. Make sure we're registering Democrats almost exclusively.
Okay, so these are people who are not registered at all.
Correct. And there's a great Brennan Center study where it says 65% of the people who are not registered have never been asked.
Right. Yep. And this is a lot easier than getting them outside the target.
Yes.
And it's data driven. So we can't, so in California, it is one of our target states, but with redistricting and everything, we may or may not have data. I think we have some data in CA 41, but need more. So,
Even the data we're getting out of the PDI database, it's like, well, how come I only have 5 in Norco? Because Norco is a city of 60,000 people. I'm sure there's a lot more, but they haven't redistricted and moved everybody around yet.
right.
It's been so quick, so the data is not really.
Our data vendors have finally completed all the redistricting, readjustments in the database. So
Cool, thanks.
we'll be able to tell you, if you're interested, how many people, how many contacts we have in CA 41 and how much it would be to buy more. But yeah, about $500 gets us about 10,000 contacts.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right, next question. I'm going to take Andrew.
Hi, how you doing? And thank you guys for this. Yeah, I know the organization. You guys do a fantastic job. About a month and a half ago, I'm part of a grassroots organization called Positive Change for Everyone. We have a bunch of organizations and different groups who have joined us because, as we believe that we're stronger together than separately. 2 questions. One on the partnerships that somebody was asking me, my colleague. When it comes to the partnerships, are we allowed to list you as a partner on our organization's websites if we're partnering in that sense?
Please, absolutely. Yeah. And we'd love to list you too, Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. The stronger, the more we all pull together, the stronger we are, for sure.
Yeah, we're officially listed as in Washington. That's what, for the organization purpose. I'm out in Arizona, so I'm one of the areas you guys we're fighting every day on every policy known to man. But I guess I really have more of a general question for you. And this is something that came up, and you guys do a phenomenal job. I've known for a while. I know Demcast USA speaks of you very well, and they're a partner of ours too now. But how do you get about? So we got about 600,000-700,000 people across our groups in social media and stuff like that. How do you motivate? What I find is a lot of people want to speak and complain. And I try to say that the time for speaking and complaining is over. Voting is the minimum you can do right now. Get out and vote. But give an hour of your time, we're being attacked on, it's almost like going back 40, 50 years. How do you motivate people from going into that type of great, you can post everything you want, complain about it, but how do you motivate them into more action?
Andrew, you should really come to our weekly social media training and party. It's 11 a.m. Pacific every Wednesday. You can find the link to that on our volunteer ops page under actions on the website, fieldteam6.org, or I'm sure somebody will post that in the chat for you right now if you like. Come by. It's super inspiring to hear all of the people that are doing this on a regular basis, and we're building like a bigger and bigger team every week. But to also take a look at the posts that we're pushing out. All of them are the antidote to what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, action really is the best therapy. And I feel like when people complain and we have organizing opportunities for them to actually make concrete change, I feel like this is the medicine. This is what makes people feel better.
Yeah, that's perfect. We, as I said, and not taking up too much time, we've had, been pretty happy with the growth we've had, and a lot of people coming to us to join. But I think one of the biggest issues is with the numbers of people we have. I got 600,000 on my Facebook page for voter suppression group. But trying to mobilize 600,000, the 400,000, the active 400,000 to 500,000 of them mostly, complain, and maybe I'll get 15,000 people who volunteer for something, which I feel it's nice. But
we'll take those 15,000. We'll take those 15,000.
That's right.
Bring them over. Bring them over. All right.
You can tell the rest. You don't have to stop complaining.
Yeah. You can still just do good work. That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, Kathy.
Thank you. This sounds fantastic, and I have about 1 million questions, but I'll try to keep
We'll
them.
take the first 80,000 of them.
Okay. Okay, I agree to that. I'm really interested in your list. It sounds like you have put together a list that might be different from other lists that are out there. Can you say some more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started this, and this is like Dale came onto the organization like me. He was in entertainment for years and years and gave it up to join the resistance. He came into the organization about 2 weeks before COVID hit. Welcome. You know, how do you like your job? So he was instrumental in helping us pivot to all digital. The first list that we bought was a list of college students across the country. And then we bought a list of Black women. And, you know, all of these were vast majority in our swing states. Then we bought a list of Latino community. And then, you know, same-sex marriage supporters, possible Trump defectors, purged voters. And we cobbled together this great database of all these people who had good partisanship scores, meaning they're likely Democrats. And yeah, there's no other organization that we know of that has anything like this. So that's our secret weapon for digital outreach, for postcarding, phone banking, text banking.
Great. And well, other people have their hands up, so I'm going to leave it at one question, but if there's more time, I'll maybe have another one.
That sounds great.
And you can leave them in the chat too.
Okay, thanks.
Let's go to Ed.
Thank you. So I'm in a largish Indivisible chapter in Massachusetts, and so we want to work in a swing state.
Yeah.
So probably we're not going to do this in person. We are right next to New Hampshire, but so I think we're really talking about phone banking or texting. And having done all kinds of stuff 2 years ago, I understand why your data bank is so powerful. I don't know that we can afford to pay the full freight for, 2,000. I mean, we're volunteers really trying to get people useful places to work. So the bring your own phone text banking is the only drawback, that it's going to take you an hour to do 1,000 texts.
It's actually slower. It's actually even slower than that, because you're using your own carrier or Google Voice. There are limits on that. The reason that paid is more expensive but also faster is because you're paying for the carriers to not limit you, to not treat you as spam. So what it is we have volunteers who are able to use Google Voice or their own number on their own carrier, and then they can send somewhere between 30 and 80 texts before it starts slowing them down. And then they'll go away, and then they can come back and they can send a few more. It is slower. It's just a different mindset. If you're used to doing the paid text banks, it's kind of an adrenaline rush. Think of it as a drag race. This is more like a stroll in the park. Have a cup of coffee, eat a cookie.
Yeah, it's like an Italian lunch, like a long Italian
So-
lunch. You savor every text.
Yeah.
So if I just wanted to do this as an individual or recruited other individuals,
Yes.
can we go to your,
Yes.
so we can go to you
Yes.
without paying the fee?
Of course. Yeah. The BYOP text banks we have them running right now for Field Team 6. You're welcome to come check it out, see if it works for you. If you feel like it's something that your volunteers would like to do, we can set up campaigns on your behalf for your organization to do that, or you can just send your volunteers to ours.
Right.
We
And
are
we can do
always
that.
trying to,
And
sorry.
we can do that all for free. That's all.
All right, so
Yeah.
so
as far as
when volunteers come to yours, then they're all signed directly on your website, right? They're working on texts. They're logged onto a computer which is attached to you, and they're sending texts with your.
Correct. They'll log into, they get an action ID just like you would with a paid text bank. And then
Okay,
they
so-
get access to our database, and that's how they send the text.
So if a bunch of us wanted to be on Zoom together while we were doing this, are we
Brilliant.
allowed to do that?
Of
Okay.
course, absolutely.
All right, so then because we don't need to brand this, right? I'm just interested in getting our people doing this. We don't need to have our name on it.
It's up to you.
Okay, and then can we? So we would have to. Do you do this on a regular basis? Could
Every week. We have a
Okay, so-
training every week, and then once you're trained, you can do it at any time. So you can pick your own times. You can set up your own.
Oh,
Zoom.
I see.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
once
don't
you-
need to be on. All right. So
No. Once you're
to do
trained,
this.
you'll get access to do this at any point.
Okay, so we could just set it like every Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Of course.
We can do this as long as we've all, we're kosher and, whatever your metaphor is, but we've all been,
Yeah.
the water is dipped on our forehead. The rabbi blesses us. Pick your metaphor.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's, and what is one other question? What's your sense about phone banking versus texting in terms of how effective it is? I mean, my experience with phone banking was it's very frustrating. Almost nobody's home. They generally resent that I called them. When I text, maybe only I send out 1,000 and 20 or 30 people would get back to me, but they were often quite grateful. And sometimes, I could really be helpful to those 30. I've been at your sessions before, and your advice is touch as many people as often as you can. So
That's
it's
right.
not as if the other 950, I didn't make any impact. But I'm curious what you think. Whether you,
The quick answer is that there's no wrong answer. What really the answer is that what is it as volunteers are you interested in doing? It's like going to the gym, as Jason says. The exercise that you're willing to do is the exercise that's worth doing. So if you're willing to phone bank, that is super effective at getting people registered. It may take more time to get through those no's and to find out that person moved, or to find out that person is Trump 2024 and opting them out. It takes more time. It's not as fast as clicking a text send, but when you get those conversations, they are super effective. They are super effective, and so don't discount the phone banks. They're amazing. Like the number of people that we reached out to with phone banks versus the number of people we helped register versus with phone banks, it's actually that ratio is super high. So and then think about postcards. Postcards, you may have to send out 1,000 postcards to get a very small number of people to register. However, sometimes that's the only way that they're going to get this message, because they are rural. They don't have, high-speed broadband. They don't have the ability to get a text, or nobody has that information in the database. So the only thing that we have on them is an address.
Right.
so in your because you've pre-cleared these people.
Each one of these methods will get to people that other methods won't.
Because these people, you think they're probably Democrats. Are
Correct.
the odds reasonably good that if they actually answer the phone, they're going to be interested in listening to you? I mean, is that your experience with this particular list?
No database is perfect. So there's definitely people that aren't in our database that are MAGA. However, they are likely Democrats. So they have been filtered to be more likely than not to be, progressive and open to our messaging. So yeah, there's a possibility you're going to get somebody who's going to be a Trump supporter. However, those conversations tend to be very short.
Oh yes, I know.
And then once you know that, you can tag them in our database, and they never get contacted again. So we get more and more efficient the more we work on it. So that's super exciting. I'm gonna keep this moving because there are some hands still raised. But Ed, if you have more questions, feel free to post them in the chat or whatnot.
Okay.
Partnerships
Thanks.
at Field Team 6 can also answer questions via email. Here we go, Wayne.
So if a group decides they want to phone bank into a specific area that we're really interested in, and then we go through the phone bank, and then we say, well, we don't like that so much. I think we might rather want a postcard into there. Can we do that? Can you say the same?
Yes. The answer is yes. So this is part of this whole new partnership system that we set up. Every time a partner comes to us, we're gonna set aside a chunk of data. Even if you've only asked to do one of our programs, we're gonna set aside a chunk of data. And by the way, we will be coming like a waiter to your table going, are you done with that yet? Can I take that plate from you? And would you like dessert? And dessert is the other program you haven't signed up for yet. So if you're interested in doing all of these programs, we're gonna set you up for those immediately. If you only think you want to do one, you might change your mind. And so we're gonna have that data set aside for you, and you're gonna be able to do all those multiple touches on that data. Thank you, Wayne. That was a great question. All right, I'm gonna go to Lane.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, we're in Bosque County, Texas, which is outside of Waco, smaller rural county. So our numbers are not going to be big. I think we have 12,000 voters in our county.
Okay.
And I guess my question is, are your lists specific to counties? Are they that refined to where we would just get a list for our,
Yes.
counties to the
Yes,
like?
we can slice. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of records in Texas, but we can slice it by county.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Yes, and because it's just to clarify, because it's one of our target states, yeah, if you want to set up a phone bank for free, a BYOP text bank for free, we can absolutely do that.
Yeah, I don't think our numbers would be so prohibitive that either, the individual text banking or the phone banking would be that big of a deal.
Right, you
But
get a big number of them.
if we can add a couple of hundred voters in our county, that is a big deal, ratio
huge.
wise.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I saw a hand up from Beulah and then it went away. Beulah, did you get your question answered? If not, feel free to jump back on right now. Beulah?
Hey,
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't see any hands raised at this. Oh, Beulah is saying yes. Do you want to just type your question, Beulah, in the chat? In the meantime, are there any other questions? I don't see any hands raised at this point, but if you're not Zoom savvy and you don't know how to raise your hand, Kathy, we can get back to the 799,000 questions that you have. Also, I'll ask Kala, have we seen any questions go by in the chat that need to be answered still?
I think the main ones have been. I'll go back and check while Kathy asks hers.
Okay, great. Kathy, you get one again.
Oh, I'm so lucky. Thank you. Can you tell me, from your experience in doing the phone banks, I understand you're doing them with manual dialing, how many pickups do you get? Because I know some voter registration lists, there's so many bad numbers, just,
Yeah.
and maybe that's just part of the game, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think
that's
it is
part of the game. So
it is part of the game. And it varies depending on where you are. So
It
where
does.
you're, oh, sorry.
It's about 9 to 12% pickup rate, something like that, which is consistent with other kinds of phone banks. So it's about the same, and which is consistent with canvassing. About 10% of people actually come to the door or pick up the phone.
Well, that seems very good. So great. Okay, thank you.
It does vary per list, though, like Dale was saying.
Sure.
Yeah, it varies. Yeah, sometimes the data is better in a different area than others. I mean, it varies depending on the data and depending on where we got the data. But I wouldn't say that it's the same across the board.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
All right, Ed, I see your question. Let's see if I have this right. He's talking about BYOP text banks, which are the free ones. Let's say I want to get 10 of our members to text together every week at a certain time. Do I start at your website or mobilize? Then we find a training session for texting and I'll take it. Once we've done this, we can just all sign onto your website and also be on Zoom and off we go. Yes, that is right. So if anyone wants to attend, and by the way, all of this is in the intake form. So if you decide that you want to partner with us, you'll get walked through where to find all of these links to the Mobilize events, or it'll take you to our website where there's vol ops for the trainings for the different programs, that kind of thing. And if you just want to join our current events, you are welcome to do so. So go to fieldteam6.org, go to the navigation bar under actions at the very top. It says volunteer ops. That is a list that is constantly being updated. It's like the Dow Jones. It's just getting updated on a daily basis, minute by minute. As new events show up, you can click on them. All of those trainings are in there as well. So Ed, if you want to bring some people and get trained on BYOP, see if that's your cup of tea, bring them. Bring them. It's once a week. Sometimes there's a second one, but usually it's 4 o'clock Pacific time on Thursdays. And you are welcome to crash the party with as many people as you can bring. We would love to break our 300 limit on Zoom.
And I think we have Bonnie Graves from Girl Meets Grape, amazing wine company.
So this could be for your texting on your system using your software, but individually, right?
Yeah, you can bring as many people as you want to bring. Feel free. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Bonnie, you're up.
Hi, I just had a quick question. I work in the food and wine industry. I wrote down the figure. It was $500 for 10,000. Would it be helpful to do sort of a macro fundraising thing, like to bankroll that for organizations that might not have the capital present, you know?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes, yeah.
I came to your organization through Crimson Goes Blue. And we had tried, COVID made it tricky. We had tried to do some virtual events of that sort. Sometimes that's really successful. We could talk about this offline, but I just wonder if for people out there who are interested in maybe having access to more of those, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 names, but $1,500 is a heavy lift for them. And that might be an area. I'm on the ground here in Los Angeles. I'm in New York frequently, where we could maybe do something of a fundraising sort specifically to bankroll that type of access to data. So that's kind of my skill.
Bonnie, that would be brilliant. And just to clarify, that $500 is specifically if we don't already own data in a non-target district or non-target state where somebody wants to work.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to
We have 12 million records in our battleground states. And we do have some data in California, which is a target state, but we don't necessarily have data everywhere. We just have it in certain districts, and then the district lines got redrawn, so that's a little more complicated. But
you want to buy where the need is, not where you want to buy where the acute need is, not necessarily where the dollars are, right? I get that.
Well, what I'm saying is that $500 minimum is for organizations that are working outside of our targets. Right. So what we're saying is, don't let that be a barrier. If you don't want to work in Arizona or Florida or Pennsylvania or one of our other target states, and you want to work in, let's say, you come to me from Putnam County, New York, and you know that Putnam County is a purplish, reddish county in a blue state, and you want to change that, then you can come to us. You can say, yeah, I'll raise $500 to buy the data, which we don't own because we don't own New York data. And we'll buy that on your behalf, and then we'll set up the programs so that you can do postcarding and text banking and phone banking.
Right.
And I use that as an example because that's what really happened.
Right. And there are also other data needs, like California, where there are 11 House districts that we're targeting. We don't have enough data in California, and we don't have the money at this point we're trying to raise it to buy that data. Nevada is a new battleground for us that we were not in last cycle. So we're trying to raise money to buy that data also. That's a crucial state. We're trying to raise money to reach out to LGBTQ plus eligible voters.
That's another area where I could really intersect. We can talk about that offline, but I work with the Trevor Project, which is a fantastic organization. And there might be some ways to do some kind of, frankly, data swapping, where there isn't a cash exchange, but there's a mission alignment. We'll do for you if you do for us. Again, I'm just trying to think of some of the better ways that I could plug in on a little bit more macro level, but super exciting. I'm really impressed with what you guys do. And I'll get my local, I think I live in the bluest zip code in the world, which is Topanga Canyon.
That's a beautiful zip code.
Yeah, we could do some work down in Orange County. That's lavender land for sure. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, let's talk more about that.
All right, that was the last raised hand I saw. Kala, last chance for anybody, a question in the chat.
Yeah, not really. I think we've actually addressed some of them that came up. So I don't think there's anything else.
Wonderful.
All right. Hey, this is, thank you so much for a great first partnership meeting. We're going to be having these once every 2 weeks. Kala and I are going to switch off leading them. And so for the next one, invite your friends, invite any partner organizations you think might be interested. We'll drop the link for that in the chat. That's going to be Tuesday, April 12th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. And if your friends want to start before then, or other organizations that are interested want to start before then, you can go to our website, fieldteam6.org, and under actions, click partner with us. And we should be able to drop that link in the chat too. Also, if anybody here is not with a group tonight, that's fine. You can think about any groups you might know and that might be interested in this. Bring this to them. Bring them to our next meeting. Send them the link on our website, and let's keep scaling up what we're all doing together. The more organizations working together, more of us pulling in the same direction, better our chances of saving the world again this November. We can absolutely do this. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, and any questions? Partnerships at fieldteam6.org. You can email. And if you could drop that in the chat, please, or I can just type it with my fat. Hey, there it is with my fat fingers. I was gonna say, awesome. Yeah.
Good seeing all of your smiling faces.
Yes, thank you, all of you. Thank you, especially in swing states, doing God's work. In tough battlegrounds. Huge respect for that. Yeah, keep going. All right, we'll see you all soon. Thank you so much.